She said it like she was ordering lunch. Calm, dismissive, final. "Your value has been reassessed," she declared, tapping her pen against the table. "To zero." No emotion. No hesitation. Just numbers on a spreadsheet to her. My wife's sister, the CEO, sat at the head of the boardroom table, surrounded by people I had once hired, mentored, trusted, people now too ashamed to meet my eyes. They stared at the table instead. I can still recall the low hum of the projector, the faint smell of burnt coffee, the soft rhythm of her nails clicking against her glass. That's the sound of betrayal. It doesn't roar, it whispers. They escorted me out like an intern caught stealing office supplies. No handshake. No explanation. Just, legal will contact you. I didn't argue. Didn't blink. Didn't fight. Because when someone believes they've buried you, it's wiser to let them finish the digging. Her father had built the company from the ground up, an old-school industrialist with sharp eyes, ruthless instincts, but fairness in his bones. He liked me because I wasn't one of them. No legacy, no trust fund, just grit and ambition. When I married his daughter, he laughed. "Now you're really part of the family business," he'd said. He wasn't wrong. I built their logistics division from scratch. 10 years. 4 countries. 3 crises survived. And when her father retired, he made one fatal mistake, splitting control between his 2 daughters. My wife wanted peace. Her sister wanted power. And she couldn't stand that every major contract, every investor meeting, every success had my name attached to it. Jealousy never announces itself. It builds quietly, behind polite smiles, board approvals, and just business decisions. It started small, emails I wasn't copied on, budgets adjusted without my signature. Then, the night before my dismissal, my assistant, loyal to the very end, forwarded me an internal memo, contingency plan for leadership restructure. I read every word. My name was in bold. Phase 1. Remove M. Con. Cause. Conflict of interest. Conflict of interest. The irony was poetic. The real conflict was her interest in taking everything I'd built. By the time I finished reading, I wasn't angry anymore. I was clear, focused, because I remembered something her father had once told me. A CEO can fire a man, but a shareholder can fire a CEO. She'd forgotten one small detail. My employment contract wasn't standard. I had negotiated a performance-linked equity clause tied directly to investor covenants. It wasn't just compensation, it was leverage. If I were terminated without cause, the lead investor, who financed half the company, could invoke a key person clause, triggering an immediate $45 million penalty. Non-negotiable. But I didn't remind her of that. No. I let her celebrate. Then I vanished. 3 days of silence. During that time, I met privately with the lead investor's auditor, a man who despised surprises. I gave him everything. Proof of internal fraud, falsified reports, personal luxuries disguised as company expenses, all signed by her. He said nothing, just nodded. "We'll handle it." The first domino fell when her father returned from Dubai. I made sure he saw the press release, the one announcing my termination for ethical conflicts. He stormed into the office the next morning. "You fired who?" His voice thundered through the marble lobby. The entire staff rose. She tried to calm him, weaving corporate nonsense about restructuring, new vision, alignment. But the old man wasn't buying it. He turned to the CFO, my old ally, and asked one question. "Who signed off on the termination?" The CFO hesitated, then pointed at her. That was the first crack. But I wasn't finished. Hours later came the second hit, an emergency board meeting called by the lead investor's auditor. Everyone attended. The board, her father, the auditors, and me, sitting quietly in the corner. She didn't expect me to show up. The auditor began with no preamble. He simply slid a document across the table, the funding covenant, and asked, "Do you have the $45 million penalty ready, or should we just take the keys?" Silence. Surgical. You could hear her breath catch. Her father's face went pale. She tried to argue, to twist the narrative, to blame others, But the auditor wasn't there to debate. He was there to enforce. Then he turned to me. "Mr. Khan," he said evenly, "as per the agreement, you remain the designated key person until this breach is resolved. The board will reinstate your authority." I didn't smile. I didn't gloat. I simply nodded, because true power, when it returns, should be silent. By the end of that day, she was finished. Her accounts frozen. Her title revoked. Her father didn't even look at her as he signed the termination papers. He just whispered, "You've embarrassed this family." My wife said nothing. She just watched everything collapse, her expression unreadable. We both knew this had gone far beyond family. When it was done, I returned to my office. Same room, same chair. Only difference, the silence now belonged to me. A week later, the auditor called. "Everything's stable now," he said. "You could have sued. You didn't." I told him the truth. I wasn't after money. I just wanted her to understand value. He paused. "She does now," he said quietly. That night, I sat alone, staring at the skyline. The city lights glimmered against the glass like 1,000 tiny fires, the same kind she'd tried to burn me with. And I thought of her words again. "Your value has been reassessed." She was right. It had. Only this time, it wasn't mine. Because when you teach someone the cost of betrayal, you make sure the lesson is paid in full.